our guest today has been a voice of wisdom and reassurance on our television screens for decades. But he's not just a brilliant doctor, he's also a fantastic author too, here to tell us about his new book and just have a good old catch-up, because we haven't seen him for a while. It is Dr. Hilary Jones. Yeah. Love to see you, and walking so well, because just 3 weeks ago...
Yeah.
New hip.
I thought I'd have a new hip.
Yeah.
Wore the other one out. So, yeah, that was 3 weeks ago. I used patient choice
which is
to travel
interesting.
a little bit. Yeah, not many people know about it.
Where did you end up?
Birmingham.
Well, you should explain, actually, what patient choice is, because you said yourself, didn't you, that lots of people don't know what it is?
It's on the NHS website. So if you're on a waiting list, and it's a long waiting list, you can choose any other hospital that's offering NHS treatments in the country. And if it's got a shorter waiting list, you can ask your GP to re-refer you there. Yes. That's what I did. There was hardly any waiting list in this new hospital, and it was all done like that. I've had a brilliant result.
And you're looking very good on it.
I'm walking well.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm sure... I'm assuming your wife, Dee, who was a personal trainer...
Yes.
Personal trainer, is she making sure you do the
physio?
I'm doing my physio.
I'm being a very good patient.
Good.
I think it's important that doctors try to be good patients, because on the whole, we're not.
Practice what you preach.
So I told the doctors, just treat me like anyone else, and it worked.
Yeah. So while you were there in the hospital bed, not for very long, because I know you were up and about, I know you started thinking about your new book, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Yeah. But this is your new book. This is the third in the trilogy,
yes.
Under Darkening Skies. So where are we with this? Where is everybody? What's going on in the trilogy? Without giving too much away for people who are reading them.
I was inspired to write the first book, called Frontline, during COVID. So I was sitting in the other studio, you know, every day for 2 years, talking about the pandemic, and it struck me that there were similarities between the frontline NHS staff that we all clapped for on a Thursday night, who did so much for us, and the frontline soldiers in the First World War. There was also the parallel between the COVID-19 virus and the Spanish flu, which killed so many people in 1918. So I started writing the novel as a way to get away from all the science. And the novel almost wrote itself. I loved doing it. And then the second novel that I was asked to do is between the wars, the period of depression and all sorts going on. And then this one was the original inspiration, which was really the story of the production of penicillin, which changed the world. But it's a romantic novel. It's got espionage in there, it's got drama, it's got killing, it's got, you know, so many ingredients, and I loved writing
And had you always wanted to write? You say that, as you said, it kind of wrote itself, because I'm sure you're being very modest, but had you written before? Had you had...
Yeah, I was lucky to be at a school where, you know, it was very creative at Latimer. So I was at my schoolmate was Mel Smith, the late great Mel Smith. Alan Rickman went there, Hugh Grant went there. So we had a really good drama society. So I used to write a lot. I used to write plays with Mel. Yeah. And then I went into medicine, and it was on the back burner for a while. So this is me emerging from my medical career into something new.
And this novel, I think the three main characters are all female, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you find it easy writing from a female perspective? Do you understand women?
I think so.
Hilary?
I hope so. I've been trying to all my life. My mum was a great inspiration to me, and yeah, I've always been impressed by strong female characters, and I think that you know, in the NHS. They've had a very big influence on me, either female consultants or nurses. Just, you know, after you qualify, you don't know anything practically. You've got the medical degree, but it's the nurse that comes on and says, don't do it like that, you silly idiot, do it like this. So I learnt a lot from them, and I think during the war we had SOE agents, which I talk about in the book, in Nazi Germany, trying to stop the Nazis getting hold of penicillin before we were able to produce it for the troops. So, yeah, it was really nice to write about women.
And it's nice you've got some steam... I say it's nice. You have some steamy scenes in your book that you got approval from your mother.
I did, yeah. I mean,
it's nice that you have that openness to be able to share that.
It's one of the hardest things is to write about romance in a novel. And I was nervous about the scene where this young couple consummate their relationship behind the battlefields of the Somme. And my mum, who was one of my greatest inspirations and critics, I was nervous about her reading the manuscript.
Well, yeah.
And she said...
It doesn't matter how old you are,
No, exactly.
You don't like to embarrass your mum,
no,
looking for her approval.
And she said, Hilary, she said, it's beautifully written, and every young person should read it.
Oh.
So that meant a lot. And there's a little steamy bit in the second book as well, and probably some.
What about your kids? Because I was thinking your mum's one thing, but if your kids are reading, like, oh, Dad's writing about steamy stuff.
It's very tasteful, Ruth. It's very tasteful.
In the best possible... Isn't that what Dame Edna used?
Absolutely.
The best possible taste.
Do they even read them?
Yeah, no, they do.
do?
Yeah, they
Good.
did. Yeah, they were very...
You said
kind.
young there, and I think that you have branched out in your medical career into aesthetic surgery to a degree. I just wonder what you feel about it, because obviously it's a huge burgeoning business. Everyone wants to look young forever. You look pretty young. Can you fix my jaw? and what do you think about sort of our obsession with the pursuit of youth and
I think it's interesting. I've always tried to reinvent myself over the years by learning a little bit a new discipline now and again, and aesthetics is very rewarding. So less is more. You know, if you do too much, it doesn't look right. And certainly, we've got plenty of people in the media who've gone to extremes and they've just ruined their own appearances.
Don't talk about me like that.
Instead of you don't need anything done. And, you know, look, we've just had news in the recent days about 30 women in the northeast of England who've been given Botox, which isn't licensed. It's not Botox.
That's why I'm asking you, though, because,
botulism.
I mean,
got this
people are
awful
dying
disease.
from
Why is it
cosmetic
not licensed?
surgery,
Yes,
aren't
they are. They are. And funnily enough, my next novel is about the world of aesthetics.
Oh, so we're moving away from this kind of historical
new thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I think people need to be well informed. And this awful obsession with going abroad for cheaper aesthetic surgery is awful. You know, we've had 30 people die of you know,
Can I just
surgery
ask a question?
abroad.
Whenever you read about
money.
this, or we've ever done everything, they say, you know, do your research. You go, how? How do I do my research? Like, how do you know who's the responsible practitioner?
It's a good question, because what's advertised isn't necessarily what you're going to see, and you know, what aftercare is involved. What if something goes wrong? Who's the surgeon? What experience do they have? These are all questions that people need to ask. And I would say that just for the sake of saving a few quid, don't go abroad for medical, surgical tourism, if you like. You know, it's probably much safer to get it done here by somebody who's got experience.
Or
and
not
is
do it at
reputable.
all.
Or not do it at all. Yeah, you learn to love yourself. You know, however you know, we don't all have to look like an airbrushed AI-induced supermodel.
And you've had the Royal Seal of Approval.
Apparently,
haven't you?
yeah.
Did you not know this?
No, well, Frankie, well, I did. I met the Queen recently at the ITV celebrations, and she said something very kind. She said, "You're the one that the go-to doctor." That
Of course you are, and you'll always be our go-to doctor. We love you. It's great to have you on. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Hilary Jones, everybody.